Are you ever going to drop some reasonably dangerous hoodies and stickers? Because I'll cop it faster than you can say, check out our sponsor, Wabi. If you want to learn more about the nicest bike that I've ridden and the only bike that I own that I use day in and day out, consider sticking around till the end of the video to learn more about a channel sponsor, Wabi Cycles. I only like to stock stuff that I personally use. For reasonably dangerous stickers, I did do a trial printing and I actually quite like it, so I may sell reasonably dangerous stickers in the near future. As for hoodies, I never wear hoodies, so probably not. But if there's enough interest in them, let me know in the comments and maybe we can get some printed. In this Fixie Q&A, we'll talk about Tubeless versus Tubular versus Clincher tires, high versus low flange hubs and what differences that makes, and the future of fixed gears and innovation, plus more coming up. What's up? I'm Zach Gallardo. Life is short, but don't make it shorter, so be sure to ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous, and consider subscribing to watch more fixed gear videos just like this one. What is the best value lightweight fixed fork for around 300 pounds or less, and what are your thoughts on tubeless tires? 300 pounds is a lot of money for just a fork, and at that point, you're not really looking for the best value forks. You can get a really good carbon fork for around $200 US. The most popular are the Alpina forks. Fixed gear riders like them, trackies like them, and they've been the reliable go-to carbon fork for many years. But at 300 pounds, you could even get something as nice as an Envy fork. The world is yours when it comes to forks at this price. Depends on what you're looking for in terms of steer material, looks, and fork rake. And what are your thoughts on tubeless tires? I ride 25mm Conti Gator skins and I get about one flat per year riding about 2,000 miles. If you're only getting one flat per 2,000 miles, that's already amazing and you're not going to improve much beyond that. I have not been convinced on the benefits of tubeless tires over normal clinchers. Like with anything new, I like to ask, what problems does this solve? Why do we need this in the first place? What problems does it create? And are those trade-offs worth it? The main benefit of tubeless tires is that they supposedly ride nicer off-road since you can run them at a lower pressure without fear of getting pinch flats. And they supposedly get less flats than clinchers. While that sounds good on paper when you're only looking at the benefits, there are a lot of drawbacks to tubeless tires. For instance, I only occasionally ride off-road, so the benefit of being able to ride a lot lower pressures off-road doesn't really apply to me. And similar to you, I only get 1 to 2 flats per year, and each flat takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fix. So over the course of a year, by switching to tubeless tires, I'd only be saving about 30 minutes at best. But then there's the other drawbacks of tubeless tires, like the potential of leaking sealant, having to maintain sealant levels every 3 months. Then for me personally, there's the headache of having to completely deflate my tires for when I take my bike on an airplane every 3 months, which could potentially be a huge mess with tubeless tires. And speaking of airplanes, I would have to carry around sealant with me, which would most likely get confiscated at an airport. And in that event, when I go to countries that aren't exactly on the bleeding edge of bike technology, I can see it being really difficult to source sealant. For instance, I'm currently located in Chiang Mai, Thailand, a pretty mid-sized city, and 2 bike shops told me that they didn't know how to swap over a cog and lock ring. So I'm not going to expect these places to even know what tubeless sealant is. And then there's the problem of limiting myself to tires, rims, and rim tape that are tubeless compatible only, which is a bit of a nuisance when I'm reviewing stuff. So it's all of that hassle for maybe saving 30 minutes per year. It's not worth it for me, and if you mostly ride on the street, it's probably not worth it for you either. But what about tubulars versus clinchers? So we're all on the same page. Clinchers are your regular tire with a tube, and tubulars are a special type of tire where the tire is sewn up to keep the air inside and then glued to the rim. A lot of pro roadies and pro track racers like tubulars because they're a bit lighter than your standard clinchers. And when you're racing at an extremely high level, every advantage that you could get counts. Because of the nature of tubulars though, to install them, you literally have to glue it to your rim, making them extremely high maintenance. So if you get a flat while you're riding tubulars, you have to unglue the tire from your rim, replace the tire, and re-glue the new tire. So your ride is pretty much over if you get a flat while riding tubulars. Unless you're sticking to the track where it's extremely unlikely that you'll get a flat, or you have a team car behind you that has a bunch of extra wheels, tubulars are probably not for you. Some people say that tubulars ride subjectively nicer than clinchers, but there's also a lot of really fantastic riding clinchers out there, like the Conti GP4000s or the Veloflex Masters, which are a lot friendlier for daily use. And if you're interested in those tires, feel free to check them out, linked in the description. So stick to clinchers. They're the standard for a reason. I live in a city full of potholes and bad roads. What can I do to my fixed gear to make it more enjoyable to ride? The number one thing that you can do to smoothen out the ride quality and also get less flats is to get wider tires. My recommendation is to put on the widest tires that your frame set can fit. The tire is the only part on the bike that is in direct contact with the road. Because of that, it colors the way the rest of your bike rides and handles. More air volume in your tires means that your bike will ride more cushiony and more smoothly, meaning you won't notice every single little bump in the road or even potholes as extremely as you do with skinnier tires. I personally will not ride tires on my own bike skinnier than 28C. And if you can fit 28s or even 32s, 35s, 38s on your bike, more air volume you have, the smoother your bike will ride. Do high flange versus low flange hubs have any difference on ride quality, or is it just for aesthetics? Like many things in the bike world, this is a question that is a bit controversial, but I'd say that they are just for aesthetics. I've ridden both high flange and low flange hubs. Of course, it's not an apples to apples comparison because there's a bunch of different things with the wheel sets, but I honestly could not tell a difference between them. Supposedly, high flange hubs can build a stiffer wheel because the spoke lengths can be shorter, while low flange hubs can build a quote more compliant wheel, whatever that means, because the spoke lengths are longer. That makes sense in theory, but in practice, it really doesn't make a difference. My advice is to choose whichever hubs you like the look of better, because that's probably going to be the biggest difference that you can notice between them. How did you heal from your knee pain? A few years ago, after climbing a bunch of hills in San Diego, my right knee was not happy, so I saw a doctor and he told me, yeah, just stay off it for a little bit, try to take the elevator if you can, and don't ride your bike. So I did that for about 3 months and my knee pain went away. And can I just say that knees are like the rear derailleurs of the human body, because they're so fragile but so complicated, and in the event that you damage it, it takes a lot of time to heal or a lot of money if you need surgery. And knees are just, come on, get it together. What make and model of fixed gear is your favorite at the moment? Ever since I started riding this one, it's been this one. It's a Wabi Special. Been using it as my daily bike for a little over a year now. It is the nicest riding bike that I've ever ridden. I like steel. It's got lightweight steel, so it's nice and springy and fun to ride, which is my jam. Compact geometry, short wheelbase, which is a lot of fun to ride. It has lugs, which I'm a huge fan of, and it's nice, clean, and simple. Wabi Special, that's my favorite at the moment. How to avoid looking like a hipster while on a fixie? How should the bike clothing, etc. look like? The short answer is just don't care about what other people think about you, especially when you're riding your bike. You're riding a bike because you want to ride a bike. You're not riding for anybody else. So just don't care about what your bike looks like, and don't care about what other people are thinking about you while you're on your bike. People call me an elitist hipster all the time, and I quite frankly don't care, because I'm having fun with my life and with what I'm doing. And honestly, the vast majority of people don't care what you look like or what your bike looks like. People are way too concerned with what's going on in their life to be worried about that they don't like the color of your bike. So just ride your bike, have fun, and enjoy it. Clothing is important though, and my advice is just to wear whatever is most comfortable for you. If you want to learn more about what I wear on the bike and why, consider checking out this video. Where do you foresee the fixed gear bike trend going in the future? New frame or bike accessory or materials, innovations? Just curious. I don't see fixed gears and the bikes and accessories changing too much in the future. Gear riders are pretty resistant to change. We like what's been proven to work over many years. And we don't even like derailleurs, which were invented 100 years ago. Fixed gear riders even tend to be skeptical of innovation, because innovations in the cycling world tend to be one step forward and two steps back. They tend to do the same thing with more complicated, more expensive, and harder to work on components compared to what we already have. The nature of Fixie is extreme simplicity, bare bones components, bomb-proof reliability, and we even take it a step further by emphasizing the looks of our bikes and maintaining utterly clean, simple lines. Even for me, I took up my bottle cage, even though I really like the practicality of the bottle cage, but just having my bike without a bottle cage just looks so clean, and I just want to ride it more when it's not on there. The bare bones, extreme simplicity of Fixie bikes is the main selling point. It's what draws people to it, and it is what it is. It's not going to change. And innovation is the opposite of what Fixie riders are looking for. Now, there's always going to be the haters of Fixie, the people that just think it's really stupid and anybody that rides a Fixie is an idiot. But at the same time, that simplicity and the cleanliness of the bikes and just the joy that one gets from looking at a bike, it's always going to appeal to people. For those of us that get it, Fixie just feel right, and they're the most fun that we've had on a bike by far, and we really don't care for changing up what's working and for innovating. There are small trends though. In recent years, we've seen wider tires on bikes becoming the norm, and there may be more frame sets in the future that can accommodate fatter tires. And at the same time, people are gravitating towards wider handlebars because they're a lot of fun to ride and they're comfortable. So there may be more options in those areas. The philosophy of riding a Fixie is the utmost simplicity and reliability, even if it makes the thing less practical. And unless you're innovating in that direction, most of us don't want it. An area of innovation that I would like to see are improvements in carbon and titanium manufacturing, where they both get more affordable and carbon becomes safer to ride. We'll see where time takes us. If you dislike this video, I'm surprised you got this far, but be sure to let me know by giving it a thumbs down and a comment on how I can improve. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so YouTube can know to recommend you more Fixie videos just like this one. And if you haven't ridden your bike yet today, stop watching me right now, because life is short, but don't make it shorter. So be sure to ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous, even if it is just around the block or on the trainer, because the weather may be cruddy where you are, but just be sure to ride your bike.